Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am the TheSnowSpy, and I'm going to be talking to Dan Holt over there to my right. He's the coach for Verdant. He's been working with them for a little bit. And the first question I have for you, Dan, is how are you feeling today, buddy?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Had a little bit of a break over Christmas, a few days off. Kind of got back into it today a little bit with some coaching, but yeah,
Oh
feeling
yeah,
good.
right
Yeah,
back
how
into
about
the
you? How
flow.
are you today?
Oh, I'm feeling good. It's always so weird when people ask me that because I'm not prepared for this. But no, I'm good. Thank you so much. I think it's only suited if we just get straight back into it then. Let's talk about you because you have been with Verdant for a little bit. You had a lot of success in that last split when you went through the NLC Calibration tournament. How do you look back on that split?
Yeah, it was good. I think due to the nature of the tournament and how like the preparation was quite short, I think we could have played better. I think we could have gone 8-0 and qualified in the top bracket like seamlessly, and obviously there was a few issues with the jungler dropping a weight on his hand, not being able to play some of the games, and it wasn't all smooth sailing. But yeah, I mean, we had the team, Sammy through me and James built the team, and put the players together to be able to qualify with fairly comfortably. And yeah, it was kind of just trying to get the guys together and do what they knew how to do and play how they wanted to play. So yeah, it was pretty decent. It was a weird split because it's not like a normal split where you have games that maybe don't matter as much, or
Mm.
like every game was like really important the whole way through. I think there was like 1 week where we dropped a game, and then next week it was like we must win 2 games to give ourselves like the best opportunity, and then obviously go straight into knockouts. So for sure, it's like, and it's less about development as most splits. It's all about who can develop. Whereas I don't
Mm.
feel like it was. It was like who can get out the gates quickly and who
Mm.
can maintain that level.
And speaking of that, so you had that split, which was quite fast fire. You kind of had to be at your peak already as you start. And esports as a whole is it's a business where teams shift around a lot. So I kind of want to ask you what kind of appealed to you in terms of staying at Verdant.
Sammy gave me an offer pretty early on. They asked me to stay on as head coach. I applied as head coach and asked me if I was interested. And it's not something I've done before. I've done head coaching before, and I moved back because I don't necessarily like being the head coach. The time involvement is vast. It's always more than you think it's going to be. And then there's a lot more pressure as a head coach. You are the guy. Like if stuff goes wrong, it's on you. And I prefer less pressure in terms of life work balance. And I
Mm.
think assistant coach or assistant helping out the team and things like that, or positional coach, strategic coach, whatever you want to call it. Those sort of roles, I think, help me be able to balance my life and work better. Um, so yeah, Sammy did that. I said I'm going to explore my options because I don't know which head coach is going to come in, if they're
Mm.
going to want to keep me around. I said to Sammy that I was fully expecting him to do the same, to go out
Mm.
and explore options for assistant coaches, and yeah, go from there. And there was a few like people that I had talked with, but there was nothing really that was like, I wanted, if I was going to move, it was going to be for a better team, and there was no better team. This was the best team. And yeah, and then Cersei came in, and obviously the goal for me was to sort of see what I can learn and see, like,
Mm.
for the split, there were other teams that maybe they were higher in the league, or they had a better chance of promotion or whatever, in different leagues that we were like sort of sideways, but there wasn't that head coach there that I can learn from, that I can improve from.
Mm.
And it's a good org. I know Sammy. I know he's gonna, pay players on time. The real basic stuff, like pay players on time and
Mm.
make sure that everyone's happy and make decisions that make sense. And all of that kind of stuff, which some orgs don't do. Which is very poor, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, and it sucks that it is that way sometimes. But you spoke a little bit about your goals in terms of what you want to do, and as coach, obviously, you kind of, as you said, you take the team under your wing. So, what are you aiming to do with this team for this split? I know the players are very confident in their ability to try secure that promotion into Division One. Have you got the same goals, or what are you looking to do for this split?
Yeah, yeah. I always say as a coach, my job is to help others achieve their goals, and that's So as a team goal, it's to win the league, and I also think that if you're entering a league, you should be trying to win the league. Like there's obviously there's going to be a bigger challenge for some teams, and there's different challenges, but you should always be looking to finish as high as you can. And at the start of the split, that's always win the league. No matter what team you are in, there's a possibility. League of Legends, there's so much variety, and if you get the right draft or you catch someone on an off day and you're on your game on that day, you can win. And you get a bit of momentum during the league. All of a sudden, you're the guys to beat, and you can go strength to strength. So for sure, like every team you're on, you always want to win the league. You always want to get promoted. And for me, that's like the goal was to help the team, support the players, support Cersei, and really go for it and create a positive atmosphere and be able to win the league.
Yeah, and it's a great goal to have, and I'm glad you feel so good about it. What I want to kind of ask you next is then you spoke about how you want to support the players. How are you feeling about this roster going into this split? And kind of a little bit, you don't have to reveal too much, but how are you feeling in comparison to how it was in the last split? Because you've already played with one Verdant roster, and now you've got it pretty much revamped with a whole set of new players.
Sure, I think I'm really excited, first of all, with this roster. Some fantastic players, hoping to learn a lot off the coach, off of Cersei, and and I think it's very, very exciting. I think that's the main thing to take away from this one. I think, again, going back to last split is a bit strange because you had players that were stepping down or moving across because they had nothing to play for in their region, or they were in NLC last split and they had nothing to play, so they were coming. And I think there was always that thing of it was only ever going to be for winter split for a lot of the players. I think some of them would have wanted to stay on, but it's that it was like a weird split. And I know a lot of teams were the same, where it was kind of mercenary split where you just had like a bunch of players kind of playing together, whereas this split, it's a team, it plans to keep them together for 8 months, 10 months, and really work together and improve in that time.
Amazing. And so we spoke a little bit before about how it works in terms of the staff, why you want to stay at Verdant because they're so reliable. And we said before, it's not that often that a core group of staff does stay together. So, in terms of for you guys, do you feel like this benefits you because you've got that stable core, or how are you feeling about that?
Um, it's hard to say because although we stay together, we've only been together for like 3 or 4 months. It's not like we've been together for years.
Yeah.
Still learning how each other work. Still trying to work together. And in terms of league, sure, it's a long time, but in terms of life or any other tour or any other team, it's a really short amount of time that we've been together. I think it's really good that we've been able to keep people who are really good at their job and do their job well. And I think that's more important at the moment. And we'll see as it goes on. And like you say, in esports, everything changes so quickly. You never know. And with the way that esports is, where it's for a lot of people, it's not a job or it's not a main job, especially at this level. You never know. Chu, who was the head coach at the start of the split, had to leave because he had a better offer outside of League of Legends, and he needed to take it. It was like, I've got and it's just one of those things with life, and sometimes that happens. So yeah. I don't think I really answered your question there, but
I mean,
I don't necessarily think it's going to give us a massive advantage because we've been working together for, I think it's 3 months. I think it is maybe.
And I mean, it's mental when you think about it, because if you say that someone's, you've worked with someone for 3 months, it's not that long. But in
No,
esports,
it's like, yeah, it's ages. Yeah, that's great.
crazy. But talking kind of building on that, so you're working with Cersei. How do you feel about working alongside Cersei, given his experience?
Yeah, again, excited. Like, it's going to be completely different to other coaches I've worked with. And, we've worked together a little bit in the last sort of few weeks, getting the team together and bouncing ideas off each other. But I'm really excited to see once we start actually working on the team and working with the team and things like that. So, I already know there's some areas where we'll have deep conversations and be arguing with each other. And there's some other areas where we're like spot on and like, yes, we agree with this. So it's always really good to have that. And yeah. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with them.
Amazing. And so we've covered kind of most of the League of Legends basis. Now we've got to talk about you as a person in general, because you are a human being behind the game. So in terms of outside of League of Legends, what are things that you enjoy doing? What have you got going on in your life?
I enjoy socializing. I think spending time with the family, spending time with the girlfriend, staying fit. for me is a necessity due to the condition that I suffer with. So yeah, that's part of that. It would be that. So yeah.
Amazing. And is there any? So obviously, I imagine you play a little bit of League of Legends. Any other games you got on your radar at the moment that you've been playing?
I barely play any League of Legends. When you watch League of Legends for 8 hours a day, or you're
Yeah.
coaching League of Legends 8 hours a day, or close to it, when you have time off, you usually don't want to spend it playing League of Legends. So I barely play League of Legends. I've been playing Ori and the Will-O-Wisps recently.
Mm.
I don't play a lot of games, to be honest. I used to play first-person shooters. I used to play Call of Duty, the like first Call of Duty, a long time ago. But
Nice.
yeah.
So, and something that interests me then is just to find out about you is kind of what's your history in terms of getting into League of Legends, and how did you find yourself in the position that you are now? What led you up to this point?
So rather than go, I'm quite old. I'm 32, so it would take quite a while to answer all of that. So maybe I'll just go. Brief history is I used to be a semi-professional golfer and almost professional at the stage where I could have turned professional, and was looking to go into coaching doing that. Decided that maybe that's not the career for me, and went out and got a normal job, worked my way up, and did training and management within retail. And then a few years ago, I discovered I have a condition that is long term, which meant I couldn't work anymore. Was playing League of Legends at the time, a lot of League of Legends at the time. Was like, oh, maybe I can get good at this. Looked at for coaching videos, looked at stuff, and thought, maybe I can do this because the coaching level is so low.
Mm,
Maybe I can help. I can, introduce ideas of and things, and try and work on making it better for players, because didn't look very good for a player, for like professional player or amateur players. The coaching just didn't seem to be any care for players or longer term goals. It was, you're doing this wrong, do it right. That was it.
yeah.
That was coaching, and that's not coaching. That's just analyst for me. So yeah, so that's how I got into it. I thought maybe I could do that, and then was doing sort of personal coaching, free coaching, started doing that. And then Alan from Viperio asked me to do a session with the team, and I didn't know who he was, or who Viperio was, or what the UKL was, or anything like that. And I just, the team, and this was the first time a team had asked me to do a session with them. And then he asked me back for another one, and then he was like, "You're the head coach now." So kind of was accidentally got into the esports side of coaching, and it kind of went from there. It's not like I have big goals of getting to LEC. My goal is to make it better for players and find what level I can do that at. At the moment, it's just trying to learn as much as possible about the game, because I'm fairly new to the game. I'm not a player, and there are challenges there. Whereas I have the coaching experience, I know how to coach. It's more about the technical knowledge and in-game knowledge and things like that I'm really trying to work on, trying to learn and go from there, and hopefully translate that into helping players and making it good for players.
Amazing, and that's a really unique outlook on the way that coaches formulate. So, can you just kind of expand on that a little bit? So, you said about how you feel like yourself, you don't have the massive amount of technical knowledge because you're not a player yourself, but you look at it from a more coaching perspective because you have the basics down, obviously, with your history as well. And can you just kind of, with what you can give, explain to us more what your role is within the team?
Again, like if I go back to the first thing that I said, it's just, as a coach, my job is to help you reach your goal, and that for me is like the fundamental thing, and I think understanding yourself as a coach, knowing where you're strong, knowing where you might need help or might need to improve, and trying to work with there. And I think a lot of people view a coach, or general public view the coach as, you do what the coach says and that's it, kind of thing. But that's not really what coaching is, and hasn't been like that in any walk of life for a long time. It's much more of a conversation. It's much more of a, I'm helping you, and we're going to do something together. And that can take many forms and many ways to do that. And if you're asking the right questions, sometimes that's enough to be able to help a player a lot. Just to be like, okay, why did you do this? Why are you not doing this? Why are you doing that? And they can explain it, and sometimes they'll go, oh, actually I could have done this. So there's that side as well. I think, although I say my game knowledge isn't as, is an area that I'm working on, is probably my weakest area, I don't think I'm weak in terms of the general population of League of Legends. For me, I just feel like the coaching side, I've been doing it for so long, since I was like 15, so 15 years, that in terms of League of Legends, there's no one that has that experience, or very few people that have that level of experience of of that side of it. So for me, that's why the game knowledge side is something that I'm really trying to work on.
Awesome. And so, just to sort of look back on your career a little bit in terms of League of Legends, what would you say is your favorite memory throughout your league career so far?
Favorite memory? I think that's a really hard one. There's so many
It
good
is.
moments, and every time you are able to help a player achieve something that maybe they were struggling with, or maybe they were like achieve a goal, really, like that's the best. I think that's the best feeling for me, is when you like, whether it's a player who's bronze, who's trying to get to silver, or a
Mm.
player who's trying to work on a certain area of his game, and you see like a massive jump in improvement, and I think it's really hard to single out an individual moment of being like, oh yeah, that's the moment where it was like the biggest one.
I love that. I love that. And I think there's one question that I need to round it off on because I'm getting a little bit jealous here. I see that you have a magnificent beard right there. And I just want to know, for everyone at home, what is your secret behind that beard?
So I think the secret is, what you really need to do is have a very good routine of sitting down and thinking about growing a beard. I think
Oh,
that's what
okay.
it is. I spend a lot of time in the study, sort of staring at a wall, thinking about growing a
That's it. So you literally just sit in the study and you're like, this beard will grow. And you know what? As here's a question actually that you might not have the answer to yet, but would you ever be willing to shave the beard for a bet?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'm not that attached to it, to be honest.
Oh,
It's just, it gradually got longer as well. I used to have quite a short, tidy beard, especially when I was working in the real world, where everyone is, you have to wear a shirt and tie,
mm.
and look good, and I think it was more lockdown, and then I grew a bit lockdown beard, like most people did, or a lot of people did, and then it kind of stuck around. So yeah, I'd definitely shave it for a bet, or for a charity or something.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll
I
keep
can
that in
hear, I can
mind.
hear Sam. Yeah, I can hear Sammy's clicking. His head's clicking. His fingers are typing,
He's already
getting
writing
onto
down
a charity.
ideas.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. And I think as we kind of wind this down, it's been amazing speaking to you. And is there anyone that or anything that you want to shout out yourself just before we send this away?
No, no. I would just say Verdant. Go follow on Twitter. Go check out the stuff that Ellie Bear's doing. And she doesn't really get very much say, but she does a lot of the media and stuff like that behind the scenes. Follow Verdant. Look forward to us in the Div 2 NLC. Go watch us there. Check out the Twitch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, getting the usual plugs in, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a
I think there's another person you should follow. It's TheSnowSpy. I think he's on
oh
Twitter.
God, no. They're gonna see my face enough. They're gonna be tired of me by the time these interviews come out. But I think it's been so wonderful chatting to you, Dan, and thank you so much for coming on and giving us more insight. I swear, there's going to be a point where we need to do a podcast because I know you've got so much more you want to say, and you've had to hold it back for this. But
Yeah, sure. We'll do a podcast sometime for sure. But thanks for having me on. Thank you for having
no
me.
problem. But I think that's going to be about everything from us. I've been the Snow Spy. I've been chatting to Dan today. He's been absolutely wonderful, and we will see you guys next time.